All right, today's a quick video looking at this website. You'll be using it for an assignment this week. Hopefully you've already watched the video with the information on international migration, and this will just be following up on that and having you look at data around the globe, maps and graphs and charts that will hopefully give you a better sense of what's going on around the world in regards to migration. So one thing you want to look for, and you could get lost on this page pretty easily, you just want to look for this box over here where it says estimates, and you can see the 2019 revision. So this data is from 2019. 2020 is relatively young still, and with the coronavirus and things like that, the data is going to be not out right now, and so we're going to look back at just last year. And don't worry so much about data. We're going to be looking mostly at last three here: maps, graphs, and country profiles. So if you click on maps, if you're asked to look for a map, this is what will come up, and this is pretty straightforward. It's a basic choropleth map. You can see the different colors, you can see the key. It's a little difficult to read here, but if you look at the colors right, you can kind of see 10 million or over is the darkest color, and that would be like the United States. All right, and as you get lighter and lighter, you can see that there are fewer and fewer migrants in that country. But what's nice about these maps is you can go back in time, right? This is from 2019 here, and I could go back and look at, say, the year 2000, and there's a slight change in the color of the map. So pay attention to what you're being asked when it comes to the maps, and really work with this website. Don't just throw up your hands because you can't find something. Really look at the different years, or if you need to change the topic, let's go back to 2019. You can look at, say, international migrants as a percentage of the total population. So this means, yeah, let's say the United States, they have over 10 million international migrants, but as a percentage of our population, that's only about 15 to 20%. We're a pretty light color here, right? Canada is a little bit darker, and that's 20 to 40%. So it's not just the raw numbers we want to look at. We want to look at how are they as a percentage of the population. And in the United States, it's not a huge percentage of our population compared to some other countries. Bigger than most, but it's not the highest. Now, you really want to look at these graphs. And these graphs are taking some data that you're going to be asked to look at and putting them in a visual form. And for example, the number of international migrants by major area of destination. So what parts of the world are people going to, right? And so you can see here, like, say, we'll take sub-Saharan Africa. In 1990, only 13.3 million people were migrating to sub-Saharan Africa, so southern Africa. If you move forward 30 years almost, 23.6 into sub-Saharan Africa. So a nice jump, but not as big as other regions of the world, right? So make sure we are able to get the correct year and correct region as we go along. You could also look at, say, international migrants as a percentage of the total population by area of destination, right? So here's this map. You see it changes. All right, so we can look at, sub-Saharan Africa, right, in 1990 and, to 2019, right? You can see that as a percentage, it's actually gone down slightly, right? So that suggests that while there are more people moving there, populations are growing, native populations are growing faster than migrant populations, right? So that's something that we could be looking to figure out what the heck's going on there. All right, so play around with that, right? You can see there's lots of different things to choose from in the graphs section. These tell some really interesting stories about what's going on around the globe when it comes to migration. The last thing you might look at will be the country profiles. All right, so you come here and you're going to pick a country, and let's just say the country of Guatemala. All right, and there's Guatemala. There's this interesting data. All right, and there's a bunch of stuff. Don't worry about all of that. Just what's really interesting are the data at the top, right? So we can make it a little bit bigger. Oh, wrong thing there. Let's make this a little bit bigger, and we can see the data here in Guatemala, and you can see that the numbers have gone down considerably in Guatemala since 1990, right, if you're just looking at the raw data. But then they put it into chart form for each of these different places, right? You can see, right, international migrants as a share of total population in Guatemala, right? Guatemala is pretty small when you compare to the region and the whole world, right? But I really like these population pyramids. Like, who are the international migrants? Age and sex distribution of international migrants and total population. All right, so you see total population is the kind of a thin one. You can see their whole country population pyramid versus the darker colors, which are the migrants. And you can see that migrants in Guatemala tend to be older and more female. Okay, so that's an interesting question. Why is that? Why are they older? Why are they more female? What might this say about the country? Who might these workers be? So interesting information that we can get from these international data on these countries. And so, if you're asked to look at a specific country, you want to go there. Website's actually pretty straightforward once you get used to it, and make sure you're reading the directions carefully for the assignment, and make sure you email your teacher if you have questions.